Well, welcome back, friends, to the Hypocrites and Hypochondriacs podcast, second season, entitled Passion Fruit, where we are allowing our why to produce a passion that bears fruit. I'm your host, Onteaya Evelina, and I am excited about today's journey. A secret is something that people keep because of fear. There's other reasons why people may keep a secret, but you typically find people keeping a secret and taking it to their deathbed because they're afraid of the repercussions of that secret being revealed, how people will look at them, how people will view them. There's a facade that we all want to portray, and it's not a cracked or chipped or damaged facade. It's a perfect facade. In preparing for this episode, I really began to do a lot of soul searching, thinking about my life, thinking about my earliest memories. And I can remember being in the kindergarten, and I remember this day vividly because I had on the cutest purple shorts with this pink trim and these pink flowers that were embroidered on each side of them. And I remember sitting in class, and I remember feeling so afraid, so intimidated, not comfortable in my own skin. And I remember wanting to go to the restroom. And I've told this story to my mother several times, but I always assess the blame to being the teacher not making me feel comfortable enough to ask to go to the restroom. But I remember using the restroom on myself. And I remember my mom being called to pick me up, and she was so mad at the teacher. And that was my earliest memory of just not being comfortable in my own skin and just being insecure at such a young age. My next memory is a couple years later. I believe I was in the second grade, and I remember feeling inadequate, not looking as pretty as the other girls, not even in the second grade feeling like I was developed enough. I can remember balling up line paper and stuffing my t-shirt. After that, I remember just a year later moving to Grand Rapids, and my cousin, myself, and another girl and her brother were the only black kids in our elementary school. And once again, I felt inadequate. I felt different. I just didn't feel like I was accepted. Fast forward a couple more years, and I was in the fifth grade. And in the fifth grade, I was not comfortable in my own skin because I was different. My name was different. I didn't have a boyfriend. Everybody was dating. My teacher was telling me that I didn't catch on as quick as others. And it was like in the fifth grade was that time where you were really actually growing up. You were not going to be a child anymore because those were the times where people in my peer group, we were starting our periods. We were preparing for middle school. And so fifth grade and then sixth grade, I spent at the same school, on the same hallway, feeling the same way about myself, feeling inadequate. And I remember my teacher having a conversation with my mom and telling my mom that she thinks I have a learning disability. And I remember my previous teacher telling my mom, Onteaya just doesn't put in enough effort. And so I was like, what was it really? Did I not put in enough effort? Did I have a learning disability? No one ever really talked to me about that. So I remember going into middle school. And I remember because I was considered to have a learning disability that there was certain classes for learning disability students. And I can remember in between classes trying to run out of the room so that my friends from elementary wouldn't see me in those special classes. And needless to say, middle school was horrible because I was labeled with a label I did not understand, and it hindered me from really being able to have a social life and develop and to be comfortable once again in my own skin. Throughout my life, I've had many episodes like this where I just felt inadequate, but I can't remember where it started because I know it didn't begin on that day when I had the purple shorts on with the pink trim and the embroidered roses on either side. I don't think it started that day. It very well could have started at home with a comment that someone said or something. But that day led to many days, and ultimately it led to me living a lie. Today, I want to dig into secrets and why they destroy our lives, why they hinder us from being everything that we were supposed to be. It's so important for us to be comfortable in our skin and who we are. And it doesn't matter how imperfect we are. It doesn't matter if we are the darkest one. It doesn't matter if we have a learning disability. If I ever came to a place where I accepted myself for that, I would have been better off. Taking the same circumstances with me, I would have been better off. I've kept secrets for as long as I can remember. And I kept secrets because I didn't want to be myself. So the secret that I was holding back was who Onteaya Evelina actually really was. From that day in kindergarten when I had the purple shorts on with the pink trim and the embroidered roses, I had a reason to hide. And so I spent my life hiding. And those secrets were things that I hid in my past, and I buried them underneath me. And so when I came upon this title for this episode, I really was thinking about the political climate that we were in at the time and how those people that I thought I knew were not the people that I knew all along. And I really felt like people were not showing us their true selves. And so when their true selves was exposed, we didn't accept it. And the thing about it is, when you love and you care about somebody, when you understand that we're all human and we all fall short, no matter how ugly somebody's true self is, we should allow them to be that. We should hold people accountable and support them in being better, but we should never turn our back on people. And even now to this day, saying that, I can think about the countless friends that I unfriended on Facebook because I didn't like their political view. But that was a part of who they were. And those people I love today. So why would I unfriend them because of an opinion they have that they have a right to have? But the secrets episode began to really eat away at me. And it was no longer about the political environment and my friends on social media who are showing me an aspect of themselves that I never saw before. It made me go all the way back as far as I can remember. And from that day in kindergarten, constantly unpacking all the things that I held back in my past, conversations that I need to have with loved ones and friends and family. And I realized that Onteaya has lived a lie for so long. She's kept things about herself a secret because she wants to be accepted. And as long as I can remember, I was never accepted. And I never wanted to feel that way again with those purple shorts and those pink embroidered roses. I never wanted to feel that way again. So I lived the rest of my life hiding who I really was because I always wanted to be accepted. I struggled in preparing for this episode because I realized that there were secrets that I have kept my whole life that I needed to share with loved ones. And in preparing for this episode, I called a friend up and I told her two of my most deepest, darkest secrets. And it was very hard for me to do, but afterwards I felt so much better because I realized that I have to be honest and I can't live a lie. And I've said time and time again with this podcast, I don't speak unless I feel like God has spoken to me and released me to speak. And in order for me to be truly authentic, I had to make sure that I wasn't holding secrets. But this podcast has set me free because it's helped me to really dig into my past and visit areas of my life where there was things that I kept under lock and key for no good reason. The Bible says, "For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor is anything secret that will not be known and come to light." And when I think about that scripture, I think about the fact that it's it's not about a secret being revealed verbatim, the actual details of the secret being told. But when it talks about it being made manifest and basically becoming known, is because secrets show up in your life in some form or fashion. There is something that is developed in your personality or something about you that is developed as a result of a secret that you've kept. So our secrets will show themselves. And so there's a lot of things that we carry around. There's a lot of personality traits and hiccups that we have in our life as a result of a secret that we've kept. There's these repercussions for our actions that reverberate through our lives. And when we keep secrets and when we hold things in that we should really be releasing and letting go, it makes us sick. It impairs us in some type of way. And so, even today, as you listen to this podcast, thinking about your life and doing what I always say, some soul searching, because your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions. And secrets affect all three of those things. And secrets affect our processor. It affects how we deal with people, how we build relationships, how we love others, how we work, how we accept instruction and direction. Secrets affect us. And I am happy about who I am today because my past made me, and I've learned a lot from my past. But the secrets I have to let go. I have to release them and let go. And so I say today, what should you release and let go? What are those things that is killing you on the inside because you don't want them to be revealed forever for whatever reason? Is it really worth you holding on to it? Is it benefiting you to keep it? There's a quote by Allie Carter that says, "I thought about how there are two types of secrets, the kind you want to keep in and the kind you don't dare to let out." Secrets are something that we possess on the inside, and they eat away from the inside out. Can I tell you a secret? Sometimes I want to give up. Sometimes I want to scream and cry and run away. I can remember being a little girl and my mom, sometimes she would get frustrated, and I giggle about it now because at the time it just sounded preposterous. She would be like, "I just want to run away." And I never understood it as a little girl, but as a grown woman, I definitely understand. Sometimes I want to run away. And I can remember thinking that they should have some type of mental health camp or something where people can just take a break in life. I think it would reduce suicide tremendously if people could just say, "Hey, you know what? I need 6 months to be able to go and just be free." And it's paid for by insurance. I think it would save people's lives because sometimes I feel overwhelmed with my own thoughts, overwhelmed with people's expectations of me, overwhelmed with my expectations for myself, feeling like I'm in my 40s and I should be at this place in my life. Even today, I waddled around in my bed and trying to sleep, the deepest sleep possible to relieve the stress that I was feeling. And I couldn't escape it. And I began to look for ways and think of ways that I can escape from what I'm feeling. Is it in a bottle? Is it in a movie? What way do I release what I feel? How can I just find some resolve? And people run to different things when they're not able to find resolve within themselves. So, how do you find peace within yourself? If you're carrying all this stuff on the inside and you don't know what to do with it, we need to create more safe spaces. We need to be able to have a friend like I had, where I pulled over in a Target parking lot and I began to share my heart. And it changed my life. We need to not be afraid of what people may think of us, because it's life or death. If we get so consumed with someone else's acceptance of us, it could kill us. The definition of the word release is to set free from restraint. And I say, set yourself free today. If there's anything that you're holding on that is hindering you, release it and let it go. I pray that you got something out of this podcast episode, because I know that I have. And if there's anything that you want to hear, if there's any subjects you want us to unpack, if there's any questions that you have for me, I would love for you to reach out to me on social media at Don't Believe the Hypo on Instagram and the Hypocrites and Hypochondriacs podcast on Facebook. I would really love to hear from you, because I'm here for you. In close, I would say I need for you to do some soul searching. Identify those things within yourself that need to change. Accept yourself for where you are and understand that it's a progression, it's a walk, it's step by step. I pray that you find a safe space to be able to have conversations. And I also pray that you cultivate a safe space for others to have conversations. And I would say, until next time, release yourself. Love you all. Peace.